You are in Kazual. It's my house. Welcome to my house.
Welcome into the Kazual Sportz Show. You're in the Kazual House. Earl Burnett, a.k.a. Kazual E, with Mitchell Hughes, that's Mitch Money Making Hughes, in the KSRN studios here in Phoenix, Arizona. The Kazual House, where we go through all of the world of sports from our perspective here in Arizona and, of course, around the world. Anything that's going on, we tell you our perspective. You want to join us? Kazual, and we spell sports with the Z at the end on all major platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and our YouTube channel. You can follow us there if you want to and put some comments in as well. You also want to check us out on our website, www.kazualsports.com. That's where you can get all the articles, Diamondback, Suns, everything that's going on in the world of sports, and you can also subscribe there as well. It's the Kazual Sportz Show, and you are in the Kazual House. What's going on, Mitch?
It was a great weekend.
All right.
I'm actually in Phoenix.
Yes, sir. You are in the Kazual House, literally in the Kazual House, right here, man, in the studio. So this is pretty cool. I was going to try to see if I could get Javon and Ed to come on, but it was kind of last minute, so I guess it'll just be us because we got a lot to talk about, man. So let's get on tap and find out what we can. Not find out. Let's tell the listeners out here what we're going to be talking about, because I'm pretty sure they know all pretty much Phoenix Sun stuff. Of course, everybody already knows the news. Monty Williams was let go, fired, part ways, however you want to call it.
Mutually agreed.
However way you want to call it. It's still a firing regardless. But yeah, he was let go, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to get into if it was the right move, if it's who made the move, those things like that. We'll talk about that as well. And then we're going to try to see, since we got Mitch in the house, the Diamondbacks are just going crazy balling. So we got to get the Diamondbacks info in here. So and then we'll try to talk a little bit about what's going on in the rest of the NBA. Of course, the Western Conference Finals and Eastern Conference Finals are all set, and it's a repeat of the 2020 bubble matchups. The Final Four, the exact same teams are in there from the bubble. So we'll see how that turns out. If it be the same teams that were in the championship in the bubble, that would be the Heat and Lakers. I doubt that, but we'll see. We'll talk about that as well. But you are in the Kazual House, and we're going to get to start. We're going to start off, of course, with our Phoenix Suns, man. What was your first thought when you heard Monty being fired? I mean, I already texted you the night of the game. I said it's about to go down. I knew it was going to go down, but what did you think about it?
I'm both surprised and not surprised. I'm kind of surprised that didn't Monty have like a 70% winning record. He's led them to places that they haven't been in years since he's got here.
That's true.
Like as a team that is so in the tank for 15 years, 12 years, somewhere in there, where it was just nobody went to the games, nobody cared. He was able to bring a team up where people do care. That being said, this team is very talented. They got a new owner who's being very aggressive right now. So I'm not surprised that the owner wants to bring in his own people. It's what every owner does.
Correct. Yeah, I agree with that, man. And that's the first thing I wanted to talk about, is because Matt Ishbia came in. I mean, we knew that he was going to be this type of dude when he came in, just by the moves he made when he came in. I mean, he came right in off the gate, and bam, next day, Kevin Durant's on the team. And so the move that he made like that was going to gave me an indication that he's going to make those type of moves from here on out. He's the type of dude that's saying, I'm not holding back. Every year we're going to be going after it. So I think that's a good thing because we've always wanted that here. Like we've always sat back and didn't do anything. And now we got a guy that's willing to pull trigger and take chances. So I like it, but there's a lot of people that get cut in the middle of it. You know, they get cutthroat during the course of going through it. But Matt Ishbia, the move to get rid of the move coming in to get Durant, we know was his. Now we see James Jones sending out, a tweet talking about it was his decision and how he did. Come on now, whose decision was that? We know it was Matt Ishbia had everything to do with this, right?
Yeah, completely.
Completely.
Like if it was Jones's decision, he would have done it last year when the same thing happened. Like he wanted to give him another shot, and like until the last two games, they were still in it. Chris Paul got hurt. There were some other things that were going on. If he wanted to get rid of him, he would have gotten rid of him before. So no, It's not his decision.
Yeah, like I said, the press conference after that game 6, Monty came in. You can read it on his face. You just saw it. He was dejected. He was just really somber. I mean, he got into it with a ref. You know, he was frustrated. Monty's getting into it with a ref. But yeah, that night I kind of saw the writing on the wall. I was like, okay, then I got my text from, my peoples or whatever. And they was like, yeah, the writing's on the wall. He's pretty much done. So I'm like, oh man. And I was like, maybe is that the right move? Was it the right move though? That's the question. Is that the right move? Because Monty did a lot for the Suns. I mean, when you think back, 19 wins, he came in the bubble and boom, they took off. So it looks like he's a good motivator of men, but is it just a motivator of young men as far as the rookies? And then the vets get complacent. I don't know. It's just that voice. I don't think his voice got drowned out in the locker room. But what was the reason why Monty couldn't reach DA or I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm just thinking out loud at the same time trying to speak.
So for the first question, is this the right thing?
Yeah.
You can't really tell till later. Who are they going to replace him with?
Right.
Because there's a lot of coaches that just got cut that also made. So people might want Budenholzer. I don't want Budenholzer.
We'll get into that. We'll get into the candidates.
Yeah,
but
like it's going to depend who the candidates are. And then for not motivating, we'll see it in the future. But if the next coach can't motivate DA, then it just means he's not going to be motivated. So it's not his fault if no one can motivate him.
Right.
It's DA's fault that he
can't. That's what I think too.
Like if you can't be motivated on an elimination game when you're in, anywhere, the Mavericks last year, the finals, if you can't get motivated to be in the playoffs,
right, something's wrong with you.
Right.
Big time. I mean, my goodness. The common denominator, man, the Dallas Mavericks, there's 3 common denominators that continue to look the same. Chris Paul hurt, DA, and Monty not getting along. Those 3 things are happening again, and you get the blowout again. And it's like, okay, something's going wrong in between from DA and Monty. Something's in that locker room where, maybe DA's attitude might be busting the locker room up or whatever. I don't know. I'm just guessing. This is not nothing I'm hearing, everybody. Trust me. I'm just guessing like everybody else is. But think about it. Chris Paul came in with the MO and a reputation of being hard on guys. All of a sudden, he's soft now. Have you noticed that? He's not jumping down DA's throat like he used to when he first got here. Now he's coming to shake his hand, and he's trying to not make him mad and patting him on the back and trying to motivate him and trying to say everything's going to be all right type of dude. So this has got to have everything to do about what DA is about. And maybe he is the issue.
Yeah, potentially. And I mean, you got to think about also when you say the people he was playing with, like he played with Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan.
Correct.
I'm pretty sure you probably can't have a normal conversation with DeAndre Jordan. You got to yell at that dude. That is like a mean dude. Like,
yes.
I respect that dude's game in his prime. Like, I swear that dude had 20 rebounds a game. It felt like
serious. But he's a vet and knows what to do. Like, if that dude's yelling at me, okay, I must be doing something wrong.
Right. And they also, they played together for 4 or 5 years, all 3 of them. So you just like by year 3 or 4, I'm sure it does get tiring to hear
Yeah.
Chris Paul yell
Yeah.
at you in game 50 of a regular season.
That's true. That's
when you're
true.
the second seed. And it's just like, why do we care this much right now? I'm
Right.
tired.
But at the same time, Mitch, if Chris is coming in his first year yelling and screaming, I mean, you get what he's saying, you get it, and then he don't yell at you no more. For DA, it's been, he just won't get it. So Chris has to change his methods to try to connect with them. And I've noticed it because I've been there right there looking at it. His first year, him and Book was riding DA. I mean, in his face and blah, 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 blah. I mean, really going at it with him. Now this year's been kind of mellowed down. Like, dude, you're going to be all right. It's all right. It's like they're trying to appease this dude and not make him mad. It's like, come on now, dude. You can't be that soft-minded where you can't take constructive criticism.
Yeah, but isn't that what good, I mean, for Booker and CP3, isn't that what good teachers do, though?
Exactly.
When the student doesn't learn, you try something
else. Yeah, true.
It might have
true.
failed. Like, obviously it didn't work. But
you know what they
at
tried?
least they tried?
You know what they tried? The next thing they tried? Bringing KD in. We'll see if that would do it. And if you can't get a guy like KD with his resume to respond to, you can forget it. He responded for a few days when KD came in. We got KD. Can you believe that? He was all happy and stuff. KD's out there smacking his hand like, come on, DA, come on. And he's getting on him too. And it's like, DA's not, he can't handle it. He can't handle the criticism, or he can't handle the hard, tough love, you want to call it. And I just think that's got something to do with why this thing keeps going the same way. I mean, you can't put the whole blame on Monty.
Right.
I mean, what else can Monty do to those players to get them to get up and go out there and do the same thing they were doing in the regular season?
The only way he could go softer would be if he allowed his players to play on their cell phones during practice. Oh, wait. How did that work out for that coach again?
He's somewhere up in USC again, I think, back in college ranks. That's good. Yeah, but I just think that, it was probably the right move, because if his voice is drowned out by at least that one guy, that's another sign saying that one guy is going to be here. So maybe it's because DA is going to stay around, and maybe Monty, like we said in the last show, was not using DA right in Ishbia's eyesight, because Ishbia is like, he was never my coach. I didn't hire him, Right. So he's like, hey, he's not using this guy like I would use this guy, or the guy I'm bringing in, I would use this guy, whatever. That's probably got a lot to do with it too. But we'll see how that turns out. Let's talk about the candidates that are up for this job, because the Raptors' job is still open. Bucks' job is still open. I think the Pistons' job is still open.
The 76ers' job
and
is
the
about to be
76ers'
open.
job is about to be open. Yeah, and the Suns' job is open. I ain't touching that 76ers. I'm sorry. I wouldn't touch Doc Rivers, man. But, he's a good – that's just like hiring Monty all over again almost.
Oh, no, I do not want Doc
No,
Rivers.
hell no.
No.
That's like hiring Monty all over again, because he can do good things regularly to make you the top of the East or West. But when you get in that playoffs and you get those elimination games come in, something happens. So
no one's lost more Game 7
than
Doc Rivers.
That's just
6-10.
I was texting my brothers and stuff. They were saying that same thing. I was like, wow. I'm like, can you really put that all on Doc? But
yeah, I definitely can. So there's 13 teams in the history of the NBA that have come back from 3-1, right?
Right.
He's 3 of them. Also, Chris Paul's 3 of them.
That's bad. Ooh, man, that's bad. Yeah, that's hard to get around. That's hard to get around if you got a resume you're trying to get over to somebody for a job. But Embiid and Harden implodes when it comes down to those big games like that. So, I've got to think it's got a lot to do with Doc is a player's coach. Doc is that guy that can take the star player and make the star player just be cool with the coach. You know what I'm saying? So I think he'd do a lot of yelling at those dudes about doing anything, and they take over the team, and pretty much you can't tell them anything. And so maybe that's what's going on with Philly, but I don't know. What other candidates are on the list here? Everybody's talking Budenholzer, and I'm with you on that. I am definitely not in that category, because that's just like, again, if you want the same thing Monty was doing, everybody was complaining about as far as making adjustments in games and things like that, Budenholzer is probably worse.
Well, yeah. With, like, the one who probably should have been fired, but I do want him here, is the Raptors. Nick
Oh,
Nurse.
okay. Nick
I want
Nurse.
Nick Nurse here. I don't know what he'll do for DeAndre Ayton, but I think he's a genius when it comes to making the most out of people.
Okay.
And like he took Kyle Lowry and DeMar, the two worst playoff by statistically in the history of the NBA. He
Right.
kept constantly taking them pretty far into the playoffs, and then Kawhi comes in and they beat that 76ers team and the Golden State. I think he's the best candidate that I could think of off the top of my head.
What would be the main problem why Budenholzer wouldn't be a good fit, other than the adjustments? I mean, he's a good coach. I mean, when you think about it, let's just call it what it is. Players win you championships. I mean, it's not going to always be a coach's philosophy or whatever that did it. It's the player. So you look at Giannis, what he did in that series against the Suns. You got to just say he had Giannis.
Yeah.
So now when you give him a KD and a Booker, can he do the same thing with what he did with Giannis?
My issue with him is defense. He does not adjust defensively, as we already talked about.
Right.
But his defense allows wide open threes almost all day long. When you look at it,
Man.
he allows the most 3-point makes every single playoff run that he's in. And it's not like he had the Heat every time. The Heat aren't the world's greatest. They're not the Golden State Warriors.
Correct.
His defense does not stop 3-point shooting, which fine in the 80s. This is a great defense.
Right.
Not anymore.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, you want a defensive-minded coach. That's for dang sure. And this team needs that. Monty had them playing defense the last few years. This year they tailed off because, of course, losing Mikal has a lot to do with that. But the next candidate in line is where everybody's leaning toward Tyronn Lue. And in my head, I'm going, okay, you can't just take a man from a team that's already on a team. He's got a contract he's just signed, unless he just wants to leave.
Yeah, I got that update the other day where, they wanted Tyronn Lue or something. I was like, did he get fired? And
that's what I was thinking, the same thing. Like, wait, did his contract up? Or did he say something about he wanted to leave or something? Right. Just all of a sudden just throw a man's name out there, and now you put pressure on him to leave his current team. I mean, if I got a job like the Clippers and I still got Kawhi and Paul George, and maybe you give it another run to see if they can stay healthy, but he's gotten the same thing from them every year, so maybe he wants to leave. I don't know, but I just can't see them just up and just saying, hey, can you leave over there and come over here? Unless they trading for him, like they trade for, like, who traded for Doc Rivers?
Did the Clippers trade?
I think it was the Clippers. Yeah, Clippers traded from
the Celtics.
The Celtics, exactly. So if you're trading for him or something, you just got to give up something for him. That's different. But he's under contract. He just signed a new deal. So the only way to get him to get away from the Clippers would be he wants out, or you come with some hefty, serious price tag. But I mean, Bomber can top any price you come with, doubling it, whatever it is, because that dude got money coming out of his ears.
I don't remember what the stat was, but it was something like if you take the top 10 owners in the NBA, like the richest owners,
right,
he's richer than all 10 of them, or
Damn.
He might be richer than the top 15 owners. Like, it was insane when I heard that.
Yeah, he's crazy rich, man. Like, so you looking at you like, you've been offering what? Okay, I'll just triple it. I'll just double it. Or I'll just...
He has his own Clippers TV network. They have like 8 Clippers channels over there, and he owns all of them.
What?
Yeah, he owns the rights to all the Clippers games, and like you could go to like Balmer TV, and then you could go to like some other vision where like somebody's, some important people are talking to you about the game, and you're watching them talk to you about the game while the game's going on. And then they have their own broadcasters, and they have another broadcasting one, and then dude, it's crazy over there. Like, yeah, the amount of money this dude has is not a joke.
That is, man, that's impressive. First of all, second of all, I'm like, dang, who gonna challenge that dude talking about matching a contract?
I think he hired his own Spanish station too.
Are you kidding?
Being in LA, like,
wow, yeah, that dude's rich. I don't think you can get in his same vicinity when it comes talking about a contract. But I mean, I just can't see a guy that's. I mean, he didn't look like he was unhappy. I mean. No. He looks like he's fine, with the Clippers. I mean, when you talk about coaching, though, you would want a guy that can do what he does, because you're talking about maximizing every last player on the team and making them turn into something they didn't think they were, defensive-minded first and tough. That's what we need. The tough-minded one is what we need more than anything, because this team has got this weak mind where when the moment's too big, they fold up like a lawn chair, like, let's bucking in, I can't handle it. It's too much. And that's everybody on the team. And we're supposed to have killers on our team. But when it's games like that, those killers back down too. It's like, what's going on? That's coaching. That's got to be coaching. I think, and I don't know. I'm trying to put all this together and see why Monty's going. Why all this is the right move. All this together, and you're like, what candidate's going to replace Monty? I mean, Monty's a good coach. We already got teams running after him already. So,
he'll bounce back.
So it's like, man, does this make any damn sense? What they're doing? Or is it just a simple matter of I'm a new freaking owner and I want to do it my way? That's basically what it comes down to.
Yeah, I mean, he might have a hookup somewhere in like college or something that he totally 100% believes in this guy. And he might have a connection.
Talking about Izzo?
I have no idea. I don't know, but that would be the one that makes sense.
I heard a lot of people talk about him like Izzo because he got the Michigan State ties. I'm like, I don't know, maybe. I mean, can a college coach come in and take over a pro unit or program and demand a room just because he got a big college resume? I don't know, maybe.
You know what? I don't think he should get this job.
Right.
You know who I really like that no one's really talking about? And I don't know. I think he needs to go to a worse team and prove himself.
Who this?
I like JJ Redick.
Oh yeah, he's already been shopping around a couple of interviews already.
Yeah.
He's a pretty smart dude. He's a really smart guy when it comes to X's and O's and knowing basketball. Yeah. And man, usually the role players make better coaches than the stars. Have you ever noticed that?
Oh yeah, because they sit by the coach right? That's not how I meant to phrase it, but I'm taking it.
That's kind of got some truth to it, though. They sit by the coach more than they do. That's good. No, but they have to know more than what the star knows everything because of his talent alone. Right. He just got it. But these role players have to learn all this stuff, and it's like some of them turn out to be damn good. Look at Ty Lue. You can name them. You just keep naming these guys that have been on benches that have turned into good coaches. But when the stars try to coach, Bird,
Wayne
Magic, Wayne Gretzky, you just name all the top stars that tried to coach, they flame out.
Jordan doing whatever Jordan does.
I
don't know what he's doing anymore.
And you know why they flame out? Because they want it to be the way they see it in their head, and it's not going to happen like that.
You've heard the conversation about Wayne Gretzky, right? About when he quit.
Nah.
Wayne Gretzky said, before he quit, I don't understand why they're not just doing the things that I did. That's what he said. Well, okay, first off, Wayne, no one did what you did when you played. Why would they do what you did?
That's what that player's mind is like.
Right. It's just, why don't you do what I did?
Yeah, just do what I did. Can't. Yeah, exactly. I think that's got a lot to do when Magic was out there trying to go. He was like, he got frustrated. Like, it's simple. Why you can't just do it? Dude, you're not out there. You got to trust it.
Do it behind the back pass from half court. Like, it's fine. Just do it.
Just read the whole court that quick and know where the ball's supposed to be at. Yeah, but I think that's where the role players. Yeah, but JJ would be a pretty good coach, I think. I mean, maybe, give him some time to grow into it, but give him a good team right off the bat. Don't just give him a bunch of a sorry team. Give him a team that's got maybe a growing star on it, a couple of stars that he can put together and win, 50% of their games, and then not make a playoff the first year and then make the playoffs the second year and go out in the first round, build his way up. Yeah. Like a Raptors. Yeah, that would be a perfect spot for him. Wherever he went to go, he went to the Raptors, right? Trying to interview.
Yeah,
right?
That was one of them.
Yeah, I think that would be a perfect spot for him. I mean, they're not going to keep all those guys together, I don't think. I think you might be losing Van Vliet, which everybody's connecting to the Suns, but I can't see that happening. But
no, they're going to build around Siakam still. Siakam, they're going to keep trying to build up a little bit more.
Yeah, so he's got a growing team. And
Thunder might be a fun one.
Man, I would love to have that team. Man, coaching, they finna get Chet back and add to what they are. Man, that's gonna be a good team, also, a young team to look out for. They're gonna be the next Grizzlies coming up.
I will say that position's not open before someone starts thinking that I'm accusing that the Thunder are already firing them.
Oh, no. But that team, I know what you're talking about, the team, yeah. So we already said Budenholzer. We talked about Lou. Nurse is a good one. I like that. We said Izzo. What other? You know what? Here's the. Let's talk about this because we talked about Matt Ishbia coming in, right? And remember when he first got the job, he kind of did a test with Isaiah Thomas and threw his name out there, and the whole Arizona flipped out. He's like, got to back off that, and he backed off of it.
The Diamondbacks press media, yesterday when I was covering the game, somebody said they're going to put Isaiah Thomas in. Like, they were just having conversation. There was no sources of this. They just said, what if they put Isaiah Thomas in there? And I swear to you, the whole Diamondbacks turned to him and just ripped him a new one for even mentioning it in the postgame. Yeah, it was bad.
Now, can you imagine this dude? I think when you think about what Ishbia is doing, Isaiah, he kind of threw that little filler out there. Then he's at every game. He's at everything. He's around this dude. He's trying to sneak this dude in at some way, somehow, to make everybody say, "Oh, that's good mood." But nobody's buying it.
No.
Nobody's buying it. I have the sneakiest suspicion that he's trying his best to put this dude in some capacity with this team and then work his way into whatever he wants him to do. Yeah. Why? I don't know. Why would you want a guy that's got 187 and 223 record in coaching? I mean, I don't know.
Like, what I don't understand is you're the owner, and I don't know, like, they do it in the public world a lot. Create a position that means absolutely nothing to the public. Make him an assistant to the assistant to the assistant.
There you go.
But then behind the scenes, he's still pulling the strings. He's still doing we don't need to know what these made up jobs do.
But this dude seems like he's that type of guy. Yeah. He's that type of guy to do something like that.
I would do it. I'd hire my friend.
Or just be getting advice from, what would you do right here? Right. And boom, boom, boom. He's getting paid to give advice or whatever, a consultant or something.
Isn't Drake a consultant of like an international consultant? Like, just like there's ways you can sneak people into this, and then the public doesn't have to know. And
then you look at James Jones and you go, I thought he was going out with Monty. And then what's the reason why James Jones is still here and Monty's gone? James Jones wasn't your GM, and that's part of the reason, in my opinion. This is just a trying to connect the dots. He couldn't get Isaiah over on it, so he needed to have another guy still here, so he kept James Jones. Because I think from the get-go, he wanted Isaiah to have that job. I think that's what took place. He wanted Isaiah to have James Jones' job, but it didn't go good with the public. And so now I better keep James Jones and try to work this dude some way in. Somehow, this dude's going to be, like you said, maybe behind closed doors, secretly or whatever. He's going to have his way in this organization somehow.
Yeah, and for the James Jones thing, I think it's pretty easy to convince to keep your job, because I'm sure Ishbia came in, called James Jones, and said, I want KD.
Right.
Okay, next day, KD gets traded.
Right.
For the same price tag of Rudy Gobert. If I am James Jones, I am telling you, I got KD for Rudy Gobert. That's how you keep your job right there, is I convince them to give me Kevin Durant and not Rudy Gobert.
Yeah. So James Jones ain't stupid. Oh, yeah. Okay, yes, sir. Yeah. Okay, that's a good move. But just recently, the week before, he was never making that move. Right. He didn't want to make that move. He didn't want to make that move at all, to be honest with you. He didn't want to lose Mikal and Cam. But that Mikal and Cam team was not going to get as far as this, the championship. No way. I mean, they were not built for that. But I just got a feeling at some point he's going to try to make Isaiah look better in the public eye somehow. I don't know how he's going to do it, but let's talk about Isaiah real fast. As a coach, he was a coach of Indiana and a coach of the Knicks. Not as much talent as his son's team has. Could he be a guy, if you just think about it, if you take away the outside noise and the history and things that he's done, which are egregious, which probably shouldn't be in any dang on workplace anymore, again, but let's just say those things are not there. And you look at Isaiah Thomas himself, the man, and what he's done in the NBA. Could he actually be a guy to get them over the hump to a championship just because he won 2 chips? You know what it looks like. You know what it sounds like, feels like. He knows everything about it. And could he demand a room?
The easy answer for me is no. I think older players, like the ones that are kind of up, like LeBron James probably knows of Isaiah Thomas.
Correct.
But let's think of the younger players like Devin Booker. They probably know him as a losing coach. They probably don't know him as they've seen highlights of him, I'm sure. But at the end of the day, they don't know him as this winning player. They don't know him as any of that. They know him as a losing coach. And the only redeeming thing for him is he's a losing coach on the Knicks, and everyone's a losing coach on the Knicks at this rate.
Yeah. I kind of think a little bit different than that as far as the players goes. Some players are entrenched in their history of the NBA. And when you say Isaiah Thomas, they think winning championships. as a player. They think, oh, that's a winner. Everybody may have didn't like that dude, but he won. So guys kind of know, like especially Book. Book knows where Isaiah comes from.
Book was a bad choice.
Yeah,
but
no, I'm just saying. But any guy that's like Book, that's got some history, that loves their history, because there's a lot of young guys coming don't know who half, like you just said, they don't know half these dudes are. Like who was that was doing something with Karl Malone? Is like, who? You know, like you don't know who the mailman is. No, but yeah, I think for the most part, a guy like Isaiah's resume from an NBA standpoint, as far as the player goes, because we know the coach wasn't nowhere near the player, but the resume is going to stand out to the point where, okay, well, at least he does know what it looks like as a player. And a lot of players love that. Players love that type of stuff when players can come in and be coaches. They like, he know what we going through. I think that's I ain't going to say it's a good move to make, but I'm just saying a guy with that resume, I wouldn't mind him coming in like a JJ Redick. He's won championships, but he hasn't won championships as a star player, but he's won championships. So he knows what it looks like. But I don't know. Players just love players coming in as coaches. I think. Maybe I'm wrong.
I could see it. I just think Isaiah Thomas is a little bit different on this one, just because he's so far removed from it. Like,
okay, that's a good point.
Like if, I'm sure every player remembers JJ Redick playing, but you also have to remember some of these players coming in were like 1 when LeBron James got drafted, or 0. I don't even remember how old LeBron James is anymore. But like some of these players don't remember LeBron James, and right. LeBron James wasn't playing when Isaiah Thomas was playing.
Exactly. All right, so we still on the Suns subject, and actually, yeah, we're gonna stay on this Suns thing for about a couple more minutes here, and I want to ask this question: as in terms of, okay, you got to add a coach, then you have to revamp the roster. You don't have many assets to use to revamp the roster. The money's all messed up right now. There's no way you can do moves that you would think you could do, but you can't because your money's tied up. How do you make a championship team getting rid of the coach? And then you got a $30 million two $30 million contracts in Ayton and Chris Paul. How are you going to get anything for the old guy, Chris Paul, and a subpar player like DA has shown the last year? I mean, how are you going to make anything out of this? How are you going to make this a championship team with what you're working with?
One, if we're just going off, this is why I like the Ty Lue thing, because Ty Lue could probably get a really good Clippers bench player and bring him over to Suns. Like, I mean, we saw
like a Terrence Mann.
That was the name I was going to bring up, because no one has gotten more out of Terrence Mann than that man. Like,
exactly.
I remember that Phoenix Suns game that Terrence Mann, Paul George, Terrence Mann scores 45 over the Sun. Like, that's one of the most in a playoff game, 45 points. Like, that's why I like Ty Lue. Whatever coach I have, I'm making sure he gets one good defensive-minded player,
right,
or one good shooter from that old team. And then the second thing I'm doing is I am selling Chris Paul to the Dallas Mavericks, and then I'm selling it on, if Chris Paul's healthy, think how great Kyrie and think how great Luka are. I know Luka's going to have to learn to not hog the ball, because Chris Paul's going to do quite a bit of that. Not really hogging, but he's going to hold the ball quite a bit.
Yeah.
But Dallas is a very desperate team. They're right there. They just missed the playoffs. I think you can go and get the most out of Dallas. I'm selling it to a desperate team with a good roster.
Yeah. A desperate team like maybe Philly. They need somebody to kind of tie that bunch together too.
Yeah, but
Harden is their point guard mostly, so it's like I don't like the Harden point guard though.
Yeah, but we saw that in Houston. The Chris Paul Harden thing did not work out.
Oh, that's right. Oh, damn, I'm all on. Yeah, that's right.
And also but
it got them all the way to one game away from making it to the conference, to the championship, and they blew it because Chris was hurt.
And
they had the Golden State Warriors on the ropes, and Chris got hurt, and they advanced. So it worked. It's just I don't know, their relationship might not be the same.
I was going to say, and then the president or the GM of Philly is the same GM at that time of Houston.
That's right.
So I don't know if that dude likes Chris Paul. I don't know how they ended.
So that probably
there's a lot of potential.
But who else is out there that the Suns could get to make them? I mean, yeah, the Terrence Mann thing, somebody that's defensive minded like that, somebody that's like a good bench player. in terms of shooters, because this team can't shoot worth a damn when it counts. I mean, and you would think the guys we have are shooters like Damian Lee. I mean, that dude's a shooter. Shamet used to be a shooter. I don't know what happened to him. He used to be a shooter when he was in Brooklyn. I mean, we need some. Who's a guy that they can go out and get that's going to give you shooting no matter what?
I had a really good answer, and then I realized how horrible that answer is. I was going to say the center from the Miami Heat, but he also disappears in the playoffs. So all we're doing is trading a disappearing act for a
The
disappearing
center
act.
for the Miami, who? Bam?
Yeah, Bam Adebayo.
I don't think Miami's going to let him go anyway. You think so?
I don't think they'll. If he got the right price, they're pretty tired of that dude.
I would like him in the middle as our center. I would not mind having Bam. At least you know one thing: he's going to bang with people. He's going to challenge and make it tough on whoever the opposition is. That's all we really need for this team: somebody that's going to go in the middle and really bang in the middle and get you rebounding and things of that nature on the court that Ayton's not doing.
He can be better defensively than Ayton, but he's still scoring wise.
No, we're not talking about scoring. No, we don't want him as a scorer anyway. We got the scorers, and that's another thing. Like the bench players are going to be vital because we saw what it did this postseason. Shooters like just off the top of my head, like a Max Strus or something, or good shooters that just can tie things together. Because when Booker and KD has the ball, they can dish out to somebody they know that's going to knock down a three and be a big threat from the 3-point line. That changes the whole dynamic of that offense. Guys were sagging off dudes, leaving them wide open because they know we couldn't hit nothing. So who are they going to get? Who are they going to let go? And who are they going to get to be able to bring this thing together? I still think they're 2 years away. I don't think it's going to be next year. I think you got to still be a couple of years away because, man, NBA is just kind of weird like that.
I don't know if his contract's up, but going with the Strus thing, the person Strus replaced, Duncan Robinson.
He's been turning it up lately.
And like
everybody said they didn't want him. Remember they talking about saying he was supposed to try to come here?
And they were saying he was getting scared and not shooting as much. And like 3-point shooters, you gotta not be scared and shoot.
Exactly.
There's way less pressure in Phoenix than there is in Miami.
True.
At any point in anyone's life, there's less distractions here also.
True.
This could be the move that
Duncan
would be
Robinson,
good for I don't know what his contract situation is right now though.
But I would love that for shooters. I'm telling you, we need shooters and guys that are two-way guys that can shoot and defend. Shoot and defend. If you can shoot and defend, you can be a Phoenix Sun.
Yeah.
Because you're going to play off of Booker and Durant all day long. So, you know what, though? We talked about this last week. Keeping Ayton might not be a bad idea, too, if you move him to the 4. If you move him to the 4 and force him to make him a scorer, too, so now you got 3 options to score with Book, KD, and now Ayton can hit the little, he does fadeaways all day anyway from the 15 feet out anyway. So maybe he can become not a primary scorer, but somewhat a third option on the team. Maybe that's probably where Ishbia wants him to see him at, and not as a conventional center, because centers today are pretty much gone. The traditional center. Look at MB. You can't even really call him one because he's coming out there and handling the ball and shooting threes and Jokic. So, Monty kind of forced DA back to old school, and it kind of bored him out, I guess. He didn't want to do that type of thing, just every day, just doing the same old pick and roll, get rebound. He wanted to be part of, I could score, I could shoot. He's out there during his pregame. What is he doing? He's shooting threes.
Yeah.
I watch him every time on his pregame. He's shooting threes.
Yeah, maybe moving him to the 4 is the right move. I don't remember exactly. I think Flex was against me on this one, and I'm still going to say it.
If I know Flex, yeah.
I like consistency, which is not what DeAndre Ayton's ever going to give me.
No, he ain't going to give you that.
I still like Sabonis better than I like Ayton, because even though there's no ceiling with Sabonis, I know I'm going to get 16
You're gonna
points.
Get hustle at least.
Yeah, I'll probably get 20 points and 16 rebounds
every single hustle game. Alone, yeah.
And it's every game.
Yep. Off of hustle alone. I would love to have Sabonis. Oh man. Sacramento ain't letting that go either. Anyway. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't see how Ishbia and those guys are gonna vamp this team. I can't even see the moves. I guess everything's gonna hinge on what they do with Chris, what they do with Ayton, and see what happens. But you don't fire your head coach without a drastic move coming after that. because Ayton, I don't even know. I can't even call him a superstar. It's like, how do you get something out of that dude? What are you getting out of him? And can a Ty Lue motivate him to maximize him? If we can do it to Terrence Mann or to whoever else, can he do it for Ayton? I don't know. It's a lot of questions up in the air with this team, but we'll see how that goes down because there's a long way to go. We'll see how that goes. But also, let's talk about a little bit about what's going on in the NBA right now. 76ers choked their game 6 and lost game 7. We talked a little bit about Harden and Embiid kind of still doing the same thing. Doc Rivers, the whole thing. Who do you got coming out of the East, out of Miami and Boston now?
I actually have this going to a game 7.
Really?
And my beginning of the year prediction was I had Celtics winning it all.
Oh, okay.
I'm still going to stick by that one, but I'm more scared than ever the closer this gets. Miami traditionally plays them really well.
Yeah, Miami plays everybody in the East really well.
And it's mainly Celtics and Sixers, like their rivalry games.
Yeah.
And obviously they killed the Knicks, and they should have probably won 4-0 it, but different story. But
right.
Miami plays so hard against them, and Boston is clearly a more talented team than Miami. But Miami is going to go and push Boston to 7, I believe.
Okay. Because it's just something about that Jimmy Butler, man. But it's just something about, of course, coaching is Eric Spoelstra's coaching. And it's also how he ties his bench together. And they're playing without Tyler Hero and without Oladipo. And they are in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Not playing with Oladipo, I think, helps.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying, but they're missing guys,
Right.
key guys, like especially Tyler Hero shooting.
Yeah,
They're missing that guy.
Which
I thought when he went
back.
down, that was it for them.
Do they get him back this series, or
could they?
If for sure by the finals they get him back, if everything's clean, they might get him back this series. I can't remember.
That would be cool for them, but I don't know if he can come back and be his same, effective self that quickly.
We've seen him come back from injury a few times.
Yeah.
Like
shooters just
right.
shoot anyway. So
he might miss his first 5. He'll make his next 7. I don't know.
But they are a tough team. They are one thing about the Heat. They are a tough-minded team. You talk about a team that don't care what's going on. They're gonna fight and scratch, and that's how they coach coaches. And I love that. I wish he was available right now. I would love that dude.
But that's just Miami though. Like he came off of Heat culture. He
right.
grew up
that's
in
all
Heat culture.
That's all he knows.
Yeah, and it's been Heat culture since before Dwayne Wade got there.
It was back there with Lonzo and them Heat culture.
Yeah.
They was scrappy back then.
And it's been 2 coaches that have coached that team. So that's that's what happens when you have stability and you can build culture, and the culture works. And now you got this.
Oh, that's missing today, man. You'll never see that again.
There's,
will you?
Besides,
Pop. We see Pop still going. We still see who the long tenures. Man, Pop's been there for what? Man, long time. But yeah, you hardly ever see that again.
No, I'm really trying hard to think of people even that are coaching more than 10 years at the same place. And it's not a huge list. Yeah,
I think Kerr is probably the closest you're going to get.
Yeah.
After Pop, but that's it. It's people, the jobs don't last long in the NBA. So, that's just the NBA. We it starts back when these kids coming out of school early now. Everything is quick. Everything is instant gratification. So, but the West is crazy. It started out, all the teams we thought were going to be. And then boils down to a team that was in the play-in. Both teams with the Heat were in the play-in too. So that props to them too for doing what they're doing. But the Lakers, man, this is why I cannot give an excuse to the Suns when they talk about we didn't have enough time and we didn't have. If the Lakers can come off the All-Star break with a brand new team and put them together, and LeBron was out, he was hurt. AD was out. There were people bouncing in and out, and they still put that thing together. Darvin Ham has done a marvelous job with that team, and so I can't use the excuse that they didn't have enough time together because we seeing it work with LA. That team is incredible, and they are a legit contender in one half of a season. How the hell that happened?
LeBron does it every time, though. Like, when you look back even to when they were winning, not Miami, but like Cleveland time, and then Cleveland time again, and then the beginning of LA. Like, he just burns the entire roster,
He just does it.
and then they get a whole new roster,
Right.
and then somehow they're back to good again. And it's really weird because the recipe for LeBron has been out where it's like you need shooters around him. That's what you
Right.
need. You need
Right.
shooters. But yeah, at the beginning of the year, they always get defensive-minded, hard people. And then LeBron's like, I can't work this way. And then they get shooters.
Right.
And it's every single year. I don't understand why we just start with shooters and you'll be a 1 seed by the end of the year. Like, stop trying to be a 7 or 8 seed. And then we're like, oh, you're an underdog and you're underrated and blah. No, just start off good and then you get home field advantage.
Yeah, that team is amazing. I don't know. I look at them, I'm going, man, I think they can beat Denver just by looking at the structure of that team. And the main clog is they have been the number one defense in the West since the All-Star break. So you look at what they're doing and matching up against this Denver team, it looks like it's almost, I can't say it's simple because you got to deal with the Joker. Joker's going to do a lot of good things, but if you can make it hard on the Joker and he's going to score his points anyway, but the way they defend and shut everybody else down, it's going to be tough to beat them.
Yeah, Jamal Murray struggled last year. He's like, and that made it really hard on them. When you make Jamal Murray struggle, you have a chance.
Look what Schroeder did to Curry, and you try to tell me he can't guard Murray? This is the key that everybody hasn't said anything about what the Lakers do best. The thing about the Lakers defense is they can guard man to man. You don't see too much doubling nobody. It's straight up man to man. And if you can do that, you can beat anybody.
Yeah. I fully believe that the Lakers win this one.
I do too. I got them in 6, but I mean it could be quicker than that. But I think a 6 would be good enough. But I think they're going to win game 1 too, because that's the MO for them winning these series. I think they're going to win game 1 because, I mean, all the adjustments come after game 1. Game 1 is pretty much like a fill out. There's a grit game. Let's see what we up against. And if you can guard man to man and 1-on-1 and take somebody out of that game, man, I think that's what we're going to be looking at. But Denver does play good at home, though. They do shoot well at home, and they open up the floor well at home. So I don't know. It's going to be a good game, but I just see that Laker team kind of know how to focus because LeBron is a good teacher when it comes to that. From an example first, and he just those guys know how to follow him. And AD might seem like he that up and down dude, but when it's time to lock in, he kind of locks in somehow. So that's going to be a good matchup with him and Joker. That's going to be pretty cool.
The NBA is going to be so happy if Lakers win because worst case scenario, you get Miami, which will be the repeat of the 2020. Best case scenario, it's Lakers versus Boston, and those ratings are going to be sky high.
I think the NBA would want it. Oh yeah, and the Philly's gone already. I thought they wanted Embiid and Joker, but nope, they didn't want that. Yeah, but that Lakers Celtics is kind of like historic. That would be something everybody can go back to.
And I believe they're tied on championships right now. So winner takes all.
Yeah, man, that would be the big story. Yeah, that's probably the biggest of the stories that's out there. Yeah, other than repeating the bubble with Miami, I don't think that's going to happen. Boston seems like they are pretty good. Also a good defensive team that can lock down when they need to lock down. So we'll see how this thing goes. But I like the Lakers in 6 in the West. And who would have thought that they would be the best team in the West if they win the whole thing? And just the West alone, not the whole thing, but just the West alone. Because when the West started, they was 2-10, and everybody they got this cut that Stephen A. is always, the Lakers stink. Everybody was railing on them and calling them out. Now here this team is sitting here freaking about to be the best in the West. That's crazy. And it just even makes me even more angry why we couldn't do that. With the guys that we thought could do the exact same thing. But I guess it comes down to the coaching and how strong-minded your players are and what you instill in them. And I don't know. We definitely don't have no strong-minded guys. I mean, I can't call Ayton strong-minded. But we're going to take a quick break here in the Casual House. We're talking NBA. When we come back, we're going to talk some Mitch's favorite subject. We're going to get him to give us some Diamondback info since he's in the Casual House here in his house. Y'all stick around. We'll be right back.
Got a big painting project you've been putting off because you don't think you can afford it? Well, it's time to call the team at Customer First Solutions. Customer First is your one-stop shop for all home repairs, from full interior and exterior painting to handyman services, drywall repair, electrical, and plumbing. Customer First has the most competitive prices in the valley. Your flat rate quote is based on the square footage of your home, and that includes wall repair. All Customer First technicians are licensed, bonded, and fully background checked for your assurance. Call or text Customer First Solutions at 480-877-0255 for your free quote. Customer First Solutions, where our customers and their homes are our first priority.
This is the sound of a...
You are listening to the best internet radio station on the web, KSRN, Arizona.
Welcome back into the Casual House. Earl Burnett, a.k.a. Casual E, right here with Money Making Mitch. Mitchell Hughes in the house. You're in the Casual House on a Monday night. I was about to say Tuesday. It feels like a Tuesday to me for some reason.
Definitely Monday.
It was definitely Monday for you, huh? All right, Mitch. This is you're on the clock here, so you've been doing some Diamondback stuff, and I know I haven't been so much in tune with it as much because the sun's coming out of stuff, and we're going into the Mercury now, and so you got to keep us updated on what's going on with the Diamondback. So what's the latest, bro?
So the latest, and it's great news, but it makes me so mad. Remember last week when I said there's no way Dominic Fletcher finishes the season at 400 average?
Yes.
In saying that, every game has been a multi-hit game. He has had 4 RBIs in 2 of them.
Wow.
Multiple home runs in 2 of them.
Damn.
Or not multiple, sorry. He's had multiple home runs since then.
Wow.
And he's raised his average even up higher where he's over 450 again.
Wow.
There's nothing, like, he will not finish the season above 400.
Oh,
Enjoy the ride.
That's easy to say that.
Enjoy the ride while it lasts. But it's been a great ride.
Man.
But Zach Greinke's hopefully going to come back in the next week or 2. I know by the end of the month is what they're hoping, which then will solve our pitching problem because right now we got Gallen, we got Kelly, and we got 3 rookies that we don't know what to do with them right now.
Greinke?
Sorry, not Greinke. Davies.
Oh, Davies.
We have too many sacks.
Yeah, too many sacks. Yeah,
That's-
way too many sacks.
Zach-
I'm like, great. Did I just go back in time? No, yeah, but
So-
I hear you.
Zach Davies will come back, which will be our 3rd best pitcher. So we're going to either lose Henry, Nelson, probably Nelson, even though he had a good outing last time.
Nelson's gone?
I think he'll go back to the minor
Oh,
leagues,
back to
I
the minor
think.
leagues, okay, yeah.
Well, Davies comes in. But right now they're facing the worst team in Major League Baseball. I'm not even talking just statistically. Well known, the worst team for the next 3 games. So hopefully they can go and start catching up to the Dodgers.
How far back are they, the Dodgers now?
I believe 3 games.
3 now?
Yeah.
Last time we talked, it was like half a game.
Dodgers have won like 100 in a row, I think. They're back.
They're back.
But the Diamondbacks are 4 games ahead of the Padres, so still in second.
Nice.
And they got 3 games against the Oakland A's. So hopefully we can finally get that road sweep.
That kind of works different in baseball, though. You can have the sorriest team for 5 games, and they'll beat you 3 out of 2. It can happen.
That can happen, but the Oakland A's are 9-33.
Damn. how does a baseball team be 9-33?
They spend less than $20 million on their payroll or something like that.
They don't have pitching, probably.
And they purposely keep losing players, so then they could be like, no one likes Oakland. Let's move to Vegas. And then MLB is finally stepping in and potentially saving them.
Nice. All right. So is this going to be a playoff team, in your opinion? Diamondbacks.
If everyone stays healthy, which is hard to do in baseball, it's 162 games. They're starting to win me over to think it's possible. They're 5 over 500. I thought they were going to end the season at 500, which I believe would get them 8 or 9 games away from a playoff spot.
Right.
Because I believe it'll be 91, 92 to get to the playoffs. They're convincing me they could get 87, 88. And then if I believe they can get 88, it's only 3 more wins.
Yeah. I've been, like I said, I have my ear close to it here, and I keep hearing everybody say this team is really fun to watch. This team is really fun to watch. I hear that. That's like the the going thing going right now. This team is really fun to watch. I haven't seen them yet.
It's pretty much the Rays are super fun to watch.
Okay.
And then probably the Diamondbacks are number 2. If
Really?
not, Diamondbacks are the third funnest. Like, at worst, the Diamondbacks are the third funnest team to watch right now.
So after, 30-something games, 35 games?
Oh, we're at 42 after
40,
today.
Damn, 40-something games. And usually they say you are what you are. Are they set in this is just how they are going to win games? And you figure they're going to be around the percentage they are winning-wise right now at the end of when this thing is all over with?
I hope they're at the percentage-wise that they are when they're at the end, if they're 5 over right now.
Right.
I would say it's hard to say because they keep winning in different ways.
Right.
Like, this last game they won, which was crazy to me because Ryan Nelson was the pitcher and he had like a 12 ERA when he went up there. It was awful.
Okay.
Only allowed 1 run, and it was a bizarre home run. And then was lights out after that home run. They won 2-1 on that game.
Right.
And they won on the last hit of that game. Like, what they want to do is they want to win 6-4.
Okay.
Like, they want to score 6 or 7 and then say they can't get more than 6 or 7.
Right.
But they've won these 2-1 games. They've won the bigger scoring games.
Yeah, those are games we normally usually lose too back in the day.
Dude, the whole time I was sitting there, it's like it was the top of the 9th, and I'm like, cool, here's where the home run is. And
right.
And then they end up at the bottom of the 9th walking Walker, and then Gurriel just hits it into the perfect gap, and Walker goes home. And I was just like, this is not the whole arena. Also, that I want to thank the fans at this point. The fans, now that the Suns aren't playing,
right,
they are showing up this
really
year. They're involved. Like,
okay, now that's new because I was there all last season and it wasn't like that.
It's only holidays. Historically, It's only been holidays. So, like, obviously, baseball, they lie about their numbers. I'm not even gonna.
Yeah.
But the stadium holds 45,000 people somewhere in there. It looks half full. I believe that on a normal day, the Diamondbacks are probably getting 22 to 26,000 people.
Damn.
Which historically is not what the Diamondbacks will tell you they're getting 22 to 26,000. Yeah. But we all know that's a lie because we show up to the game and there's 10. And I mean 10 people, not 10,000. But I mean, the fans are showing up. They're loving it right now.
They're getting a hold of their team. But see, this is where Arizona gets you. They catch you in that trap. Get all lovey-dovey with this team, and then they get you to that point when they're supposed to make it to somewhere, and then that's when they let you down every time. But nah, we're gonna get behind the Diamondbacks now because that's our team that's doing good right now. We're gonna start the Mercury starting up too, so I think they're gonna have a pretty good season now that Brittany's back. We'll see how that goes with them, but for the most part, it looks like the Diamondbacks are the team right now. So hopefully they can. What are you anticipating? What's next? What's the next? Well, they got, like you said, a 9-game road trip, so they're gonna be going for 10-game road trip. So they're gonna be going for a minute. So the next one they come back home. What's the home game?
The next one I'm going to is Memorial Day weekend.
Oh, okay.
So I'll be there like that Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
Okay, I think I'll probably get back in the swing of things when we go around that thing. I'll probably get back out there too myself and see what all the hoopla is about because I sat there and I watched this team and I was just always getting that disappointed feeling like, oh, we could have, we should have. And everybody's telling me this team's just finding ways to win. I'm like, okay, well, I got to go check them out. And
they're definitely coaching different this year where, like, they're giving, like, oh, cool. Diamondbacks are already up 4-0 in the bottom of the third. What a great start. I might not even have to care. This is great.
Well, y'all check Mitch's stories out, his articles out, the Oakland Diamondbacks. They go up on Kazual Sportz Radio Network as far as on www.kazualsports.com. And a lot of good stuff that he's, writing about them too. So, yeah, man, the stars of the team, we already know, of course, Zach Gallen is the star of the team pitching-wise. And we know you said hitting-wise, you said Marte's coming back into form and Walker's been going off. Other than those two guys, who's another up-and-coming guy?
Corbin Carroll.
There you go. That's the guy. That's the guy. The face of the organization is Corbin Carroll. Yes, that's the guy I know for sure is the face. But I know there were some prospects that came up, pitching prospect that came out that's been getting lit up, though, but for home runs. But starts with the P. I forgot his name. Did you just text me who's in the rotation now? I forgot his name. It's a new kid that they just brought up. That's been
They've brought up a few people. I'm not exactly sure which one you're talking about. Ryan Nelson's kind of been getting lit up.
No, I think it's the guy that starts. His last name starts with a P. He's got a weird spelling to it.
Fought.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, that guy. And he's been.
That's the one who. Sorry, I said Ryan Nelson pitched. It Fought that pitch the other day.
Right.
I think, Fought. I believe he's probably the best. Like, he's been getting lit up.
Yeah.
I think from what I've seen with his stuff, when that dude's on, he's gonna be on.
Ooh, nice.
When that dude's not on, it's gonna be a rough game. But like, I don't see too much upside with Henry. He had the best outing of all of them so far, but his stuff just isn't quite there yet.
Right.
And they're getting a lot of hard hits off that dude.
Really?
They're just landing in the perfect spots to help him out.
Okay.
I think Fought has had horrible luck in his outings, and then this time it finally showed up where he had that one home run, and then he was good after that.
Okay.
And I hope they keep him up. And now it's 4-0. I hope they keep him up and everything. But with with another Zach Davies coming up, I'm definitely a little bit worried. They already cut Seth Beer. They're getting really aggressive this year with, like, they pulled Dre Jameson down earlier, and he had like a 3.5 ERA, which is better than any of the other rookies that we have right now.
Mm-hmm.
So they definitely have a plan. They're being a lot more aggressive than they ever have. And Torey Lovullo has even said, we're being more aggressive because we think we can win this year.
Wow.
Not win this as a championship. We can win this season. Like,
nice. Well, that's our time, man. I appreciate that. And thanks for coming in. I know you back and forth from a long distance. So I love when you come in the studio. It's a whole lot cooler where you actually can sit and like you're talking to somebody instead of looking in that little box over there. But this has been the Kazual Sportz Show on a Monday night. Earl Burnett, Mitchell Hughes, right here in the Kazual House on KSRN, the hottest internet radio station on the web. We're going to get out of here tonight. We'll catch y'all next time. Peace out.